I personally don't struggle with staying consistent in practicing my English skills because I've already made a career out of it. And I also love the language, so I have both intrinsic and extrinsic motivations driving me to get better and better at speaking in English. So my consistent practice of my English skills is similar to a gym trainer working out regularly to maintain his physique and inspire his clients. So I decided to look at my students and other people who have an excellent command of English. And here are a few things that I've noticed that they do to stay consistent and keep their English skills sharp. Mostly, we procrastinate on practicing our English speaking skills because it seems a little challenging and scary. It can be the long hours that we need to spend practicing, dealing with unfamiliar vocabulary and grammar, or feelings of inadequacy, aka feeling like we're not good enough. But my students who have study partners or speaking partners manage these obstacles really well. When we have a speaking partner, things seem a little less challenging because we can depend on each other. So, for example, practicing your English speaking skills for 2 hours on your own can be a little daunting, but with a speaking partner, you may not even notice how time flies. And when you don't understand any vocabulary or grammar, you can research it together and explain it to each other. And you can also hold each other accountable by creating a practice schedule that works for both of you. So this way, when it's time to practice, even if you're too lazy to show up and practice, you're going to consider the other person's feelings, which will motivate you to show up and practice regularly. Of course, English is not your native language, so there is always going to be room for improvement. There's always going to be new things to learn. But my students who have clear goals and who know how much time they want to spend working towards these goals tend to be more consistent. For example, in my intensive speaking classes, some students tell me that they need to work abroad in the next 6 months or 7 months, and they need to be able to communicate with their future colleagues or clients in English. They want to know how to talk about various topics in English, how to expand their vocabulary, and how to improve their grammar along with their spoken English. And there can also be other students who tell me that they need to advance their English to an upper intermediate level in order to improve their chances of winning scholarships that they're going to apply for next year. Or another example can be a student preparing for an English proficiency test like the IELTS. So they set a goal to achieve a specific band score within the next 4 months or 5 months. So not only do they know what they want to achieve, they also have a specific deadline. So this way they stay consistent because they have a timeline within which they have to reach a goal. Of course, it doesn't mean that they're going to stop learning English after reaching the goal. I mean, they're going to continue learning English, but they set the timeline in order to discipline themselves and avoid procrastinating on their language goals. Progress is a great motivator. When we're making progress, when we're improving, and know that we're getting better and better, we want to practice our English skills more consistently because our hard work is paying off and will continue to do so in the future. However, there can be times when we don't see immediate results or significant progress, even though we've been working on our English skills consistently. For example, in my B1 to B2 intensive course, some students saw great results in the first month. Then in the second month, they felt like they weren't making much progress and they felt stuck. But they didn't quit. They kept working hard, they kept showing up to class, and at the end of the course, they were able to take their English to the next level. Had they quit just because they didn't see any progress, they wouldn't have achieved anything. So keep this in mind. Great things take time. When you're too focused on how much progress you're making, it's gonna take the fun out of learning. And it's also gonna make you feel more worried, nervous, and self-critical. When you're focused on showing up for yourself and making your best effort, even if it is not perfect, it's gonna make you feel happier overall, and it's also gonna help you stay consistent. This is my last tip, which comes from my personal experience. Imagine how you're gonna feel after you finish practicing your English skills. Let's say you've planned to practice your English skills 3 times a week, either by recording yourself speaking in English or by attending a speaking class. And today you have to do one of them, and you're just too lazy to show up, and you're debating whether you should practice today or procrastinate and do it tomorrow. At that time, imagine how you're gonna feel after you finish the practice. Not now, not during the practice, but after you finish the practice, how are you gonna feel? Personally, imagining it helps me just get up and practice because I know that there will be a sense of accomplishment. And I also know that if I procrastinate, I'm gonna end up feeling guilty throughout the day. So I watched a video on TikTok about earning our dopamine. You may not want to do a task, but if you just push through and do it, you're gonna feel a sense of accomplishment and joy after completing it. And this is how you earn your dopamine. And this way, you're gonna improve your relationship with yourself as well, because you keep the promises that you make to yourself. And it helps you stay consistent in practicing your English skills as well.